Hi everyone, welcome to the Xander Effect. I'm your host, Xander Dames. This week has been a crazy week full of different surprises. Check it out. Amanda Holley stops by to give us a little insight on what is going on in her music and her acting career. And David Leach tells us about his adventure on the Jimmy Kimmel Show.
And sat front row. And what you didn't see on TV is Nightmare's 2 seats.
All that and more coming up right now. What's up, everyone? I'm your host, Xander Dames, and welcome to the Xander Effect. This week has been just like saturated with surprises, actually, and a lot of them are coming out of Comic-Con, actually. Starting with a personal favorite of mine, actually, and full disclosure, I am a little bit of a Trekkie, and for all you Trekkies out there, you're in for a treat. Comic-Con decided to feature a teaser trailer of the new Picard series that's going to be airing in 2020 on the CBS All Access app. And it features Patrick Stewart reprising his role as Jean-Luc Picard. No longer captain, of course, because it's been over 2 decades since he was a captain of the Enterprise. And, man, I got to tell you, when I saw the trailer, it gave me goosebumps. It was a really good trailer, the way they made it. A little bit more, I don't know, I felt it was a little bit darker. But, man, it was really, really cool to see him reprise his role. And there was a couple of cameos that was really cool to watch, too. In the first couple of scenes, you see him speaking to the Admiral, which is actually Admiral Janeway. She's sporting some gray hair, and it was really cool to see her, even if it was for a split second, because it really didn't like show her that well. But it looks like apparently in the trailer, Jean-Luc Picard gets approached by a young woman that needs some sort of protection, and this woman carries some sort of a secret. The secret, which is really interesting, because they ended up showing portions of a Borg cube. Now, who knows who this girl is? Who knows why she's seeking Picard for protection? But whatever it is, they're in for an adventure, because it looks like Jean-Luc did not get the help that he needed from Starfleet. So it seems to me that he might be going rogue on this. And he's decided to go ahead and recruit a few new members for a brand new crew and a brand new ship. So it should be interesting to watch. But again, going back to the cameos. So, Kate Mulgrew decided to, grace the show with her presence, along with another former Borg and former crew member of Voyager. Jerry Ryan reprises her role as 7 of 9, only that the thing is that from what they showed with her, it seems like she has more of a personality. She's no longer like an automaton drone type. She seems like she's more, she's more joyful, I guess. I don't know. I couldn't really describe it, but it seemed pretty cool actually to see her. She still looks smoking hot too. Also another interesting surprise, which I don't know how I feel about this, and I don't know how they're gonna write him in. They brought back Data, and if many of you have not seen Star Trek Nemesis, which is the last Star Trek movie that the cast of Star Trek: The Next Generation did, spoiler alert, but Data dies saving Captain Picard in an explosion on a Romulan vessel. And the thing is that when he dies, there is another android that they had found earlier on in the movie that they call B4. And B4 was less advanced than Data, way less advanced. He was almost like a newborn, pretty much. So seeing Data on this show, especially at the end of the trailer, almost at the end of the trailer, was interesting because is it Data or is it B4 that is going to be doing that role? And not only that, he looked kind of weird too. Like his eyes were weird. I don't know. I don't know if I'm too keen on this new Data or B4, whoever he is for this, but we'll see what happens. We'll see exactly what role he plays in this whole thing. But man, at the end of the trailer, it was really cool to see Captain Picard say his catchphrase, which was engage. That right there, that was really awesome to hear that. So I'm looking forward to seeing that next year in 2020 on CBS All Access. In other entertainment news, again, coming from Comic-Con, pretty much all this stuff that I'm telling you right now is coming from Comic-Con in San Diego. So it looks like they're coming out with another Blade. I don't know if it's a series or a movie, but I'm not, the last Blade movies that were shot with Wesley Snipes, I think it was the last two, suck. They sucked. They bombed at the box office. And then the series, they tried to do a Blade series, and that also didn't do too well. It was on Spike TV many years ago. That also didn't do too well for TV ratings. It was canceled very shortly after. So Marvel is coming out with another Blade, I guess, project starring Mahershala Ali. And who knows how this one's going to turn out, because so far it looks like if it's going to be something that's going to be streamed on Netflix, Marvel hasn't had too much luck with a lot of their series on Netflix. Well, I mean, they have and they haven't. They've already canceled a few of the shows, on Netflix that belong to Marvel. So who knows exactly how that one's going to turn out, or where it's going to be, or what it's going to be. That's still up in the air, so we'll see what happens there. But I mean, they did go ahead and combine forces with Disney, so chances are that there might something they may actually improve on some of this stuff. And in talking about their combination with Disney, they also teased on another Fantastic Four project, along with bringing back Wolverine. And this isn't going to be the same Wolverine that was played by Hugh Jackman. Obviously, Hugh Jackman's not going to be playing Wolverine because he hung up his adamantium claws, and again, spoiler alert, he died in Logan. So more than likely, it's going to be another person that they're going to cast. There was rumors that they were looking for Charlie Hunnam to go ahead and play the role of Wolverine. So that should be interesting, actually, to see that. But nothing's set in stone. Nobody really knows exactly who's going to be playing the role of Wolverine. And also another thing, the uniform that he's going to be wearing is the original from the cartoon series, the original yellow and black uniform that Wolverine wore in the cartoons and in the comic books. So that should be pretty cool. I saw actually they showed a little bit of what it looks like, and it looks pretty awesome, to be honest with you. Another role that's coming back that was also announced at Comic-Con is Jane Foster is returning. Natalie Portman is reprising her role as Jane Foster in the new Thor movie that's coming out. And she is going to be wielding the hammer. She is playing the role of the female Thor, which makes sense because, well, it's Jane Foster. So that should be interesting to see Natalie Portman return as Jane Foster. When they announced her, there was a thunderous, no pun intended, roar of applause for that. People love Natalie Portman, so they're really happy to see her return as Jane Foster. And it should be really interesting to see her as a hero, as a superhero, actually, because she's always played different roles. She's an incredible actress, and I mean, the closest she's ever come to a superhero was leading her people in the Battle of Naboo against the droid army in Star Wars Episode 1. So it should be interesting to see her. It doesn't mean that she can't do it. I mean, obviously, if she did it in Star Wars, she could play a hero easily in anything that she does. So it's going to be interesting to see that, and we'll see what happens. A lot more news coming out of Comic-Con. We're just going to have to wait and see, where it goes. In other entertainment news, I decided to go ahead and interview an amazing vocalist, Amanda Holley, and she's an up and coming singer, and with an incredible voice. Has gone through a lot of things in her life, and she decided to grace us with her presence on the Xander Effect. Check it out. Hi everyone, I'm here with the lovely Amanda Holley. There it is. That's the voice that we want to listen to.
I just introduce myself like that. Like, I'll just walk in.
Right? Just do the Mariah Carey thing.
People will be like, what is wrong with you?
Well, thank you so much, Amanda, for being on the Xander Effect. I appreciate that. And we're right here at Urban Press Winery in this wonderful little barrel room. Thanks to owner Giovanni DeAndre for allowing us to be here. So this is really cool. So Amanda, you're here visiting from New York. Is that correct?
Yeah. Well, actually, I guess I'm technically bi-coastal now. I live in New York. I'm still based in New York in Manhattan, Upper West Side, technically. Yeah. But I'm here more than I'm home.
So how's that making you feel right now? A little jet lagged and a little like, I'm gonna fall asleep right now. I'm done.
I've been here for like 5 weeks now. It was supposed to be literally a 1 week trip.
I thought you were actually correction because we've actually spoken on.
Yeah, no, I've been here. I just went to. You know what I did? I went to Arizona. Yeah. For 4th of July holiday with my sister, who I just met like a year and a half ago.
Wow, we're gonna get to like more family reunions in a bit, but yeah, go ahead, keep going with that one.
So I went to AZ, went to Sedona, vibed out, went to some energy vortexes.
I noticed that. I'm like stalking you on Instagram, just so you know. Okay. So I'm like watching all your videos and stuff like that. Research. Yeah, exactly. Research. That's what we'll call it. It's research.
It makes my life easier when I'm here. And then just came on back out to LA. I did not go home.
Yeah, because I remember that we spoke on Instagram Messenger. You're like, oh yeah, I'm only going to be here for 2 weeks. Like a year later, and you're still here.
I really genuinely thought that because we're shooting for a TV show that I'm a part of, and we were supposed to be wrapped with everything. And I guess technically, we did finish, but then there were other things connected to it that needed to get done. And then at the same time, there's stuff going on with music and other TV and film projects and business. So the trip just kept getting longer.
Just longer and longer. Yeah. And what's the TV show that you're working on? Can you talk about that, or what are the projects?
It's a reality show. Mm-hmm. It's a reality show, and it is starring Bobby Chance. I'm one of the main actors on the show, and so we're kind of following my life and music and stuff like that.
Wow! So this is all just something just like fell on your lap, or was this already something that was
random?
Really? Do these things happen to you a lot, like random events like this?
Yes. So this one is like a trippy story, but when I was a little girl, I saw this show on TV, and I saw this blonde lady working with these actors, and she was like so phenomenal, and I was like, I don't know her name. I think she's in California. How would I ever get to California? Because I grew up, with nothing really, not a lot, broke.
It's like Jenny from the Block, but you were like also, Amanda from the Block. Careful right there.
Not fall here. So I didn't have, the things that most people have. Even people who are impoverished in our country, a lot of times they at least have a family, strong family base, and I didn't have that either. So I pretty much did everything on my own from the time I was a little girl.
Wow.
And then I had aunts and uncles around who would help along the way, teachers and stuff like that. So I'm like, how would I ever get to California,
If you dream it, it can actually happen.
So crazy. And I was always a singer, obviously, but I also...
Since what age?
I started singing before I spoke.
Really?
I picked up a violin at 2.5.
Wow.
Because my mom was a concert cellist, and I was in the orchestra pit with her, and just, I just thought that was what I was supposed to do: learn all the lines, learn all the music.
So when you were like crying, actually she's practicing for opera.
Yeah, basically. Yeah, she's practicing her aria. My parents, when I was an infant, they were actually homeless together, and they used to play and sing in alleyways and on rooftops.
Wow. Talk about like a West Side Story type of
really crazy. My mom went to Manhattan School of Music. She was a trained concert cellist. Freaking phenomenal, studied under a pupil of Pablo Casals, and my father wrote for Sarah Vaughan, and his name is on the records, but he never saw his royalties. And my parents both did phenomenal, incredible things. They both suffered from mental illness, horrifically, and my dad wasn't in the picture after that point. I didn't meet him again until I was a little girl, maybe third grade or so, remember. And I found out that he was a writer. And that explained why I'd been composing from like 2.
So you had like it's in your genes already to be what you are.
So I love LA. I love LA.
Yeah. let's put that one out there first.
I love LA. I couldn't choose between New York or LA. I feel like they're both vital to my existence right now as an artist, really important. But I was exhausted and stressed.
Well, isn't that the life of an artist, though?
Yeah, it is.
That's just the life.
It is. It's just, it's been my life since I was born. So sometimes I'm like, I'd like a little break, but it never happens. And I never trade my life for anything. Like my art is everything to me. So we come out here and we have a meeting on the Disney lot that morning, the next morning. And I'm like, oh, this must be why, that was a pretty incredible meeting. And really, like, just mind and spirit altering as it was. I was already on cloud 9, like, wow. And then that night, Ralph said, let's go see my friend. He's shooting, and we go see.
And Ralph is your manager, right?
Yeah, Ralph, my manager. Yes, Ralph Cooper II of the Apollo Theater legacy.
Nice.
And we stumble up into this studio, and I look, and my heart falls out of my chest, because it was the place that I saw on TV when I was a little girl, and there was that lady, and I found, her name is Bobby Chance,
Wow.
And the minute that I met her, it was just like, whoa. And I was just like, I'd just love to go to class one day. Lo and behold, here I am, a part of the show.
One of the other songs that I really loved, and I told you this earlier, was Ugly Piano.
Ugly. Yeah, so Ugly.
Well, the name is Ugly, not Ugly Piano, because that's what I saw it on YouTube. Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, I haven't even officially recorded it yet.
Because looks like you know how to play the violin.
Yes.
The piano.
Yes.
What other instruments do you know how to play?
I should play the guitar, but see, every instrument I've learned, I've played and self-taught myself from the time I was 2.5.
Wow. You self-taught?
Yeah, my mom, being a musician, she's like, you already know what to do. Like, she put me in Suzuki class when I was like 2.5. At the State University. And then after that, it was just like, okay.
And everything you've written, has it come from personal experience, or what inspires you, actually? I don't write about anything I don't know. I mean, every single song that comes out of me, first of all, I don't even feel like I write them. I feel like they write themselves. Ugly was a really dark night of the soul for me, and I was asked to bear everything in the song. I could tell. I heard the lyrics to it.
By a really incredible songwriter who I'll be working with.
I see a pretty tree. I see a pretty slide while I'm black and blue inside. And my poetry can't. This fight I got to die. How can I love myself when ugly tells a lie? When ugly tells a lie, it breaks me down inside. It hurts to be alive, painting rainbows.
It was hard for me, and I didn't really want anybody to hear that song, you know, and my manager Ralph was like, we're gonna tape this, like we're gonna record this one on video.
And you can tell that you can actually, like, you put your whole heart and soul into that song, because I remember watching a few years ago when Christina Aguilera did she did this one song kind of a cappella with piano and everything, and she was on her back and she started crying because she started remembering, because when she was singing it, it was a reminder of her dad.
Hurt.
That's the one. Thank you.
Such an incredible performance.
And I saw that. It was a great music video.
Yeah.
So when I saw that and I saw you, I was like, you can tell that this young woman is putting her heart and soul, and it's a real emotion that's coming out of her when she's singing this song. So that's what I saw out of you, you know, and that was just that was an amazing performance, even though it wasn't an official music video.
Yeah, and it was just, you know, we went in and we had to actually send it to this writer, and we just went in and we just did it 3 times and picked one, you know, and put it up there really for her, just to have it up there. And I said, okay, fine, I'll just leave it, because maybe someone will find it and connect to it. And then what would start to happen was, when the first single came out at Tommy Boy Warner Brothers, Deanin',
which we're gonna go to that one. I got a question about that.
We would take a break in the middle of the show, and I would do Ugly, and I have another song I wrote called Lovable that I have not released. I would put out there, and then a couple of other ones that are in that vein. And that was always a moment, like, people would just break down, like guys, girls, executives, and, you know, kids. Like, people would come up to me and thank me for performing it. And I was terrified to sing that song. Like,
well, how could you be terrified? You performed at Carnegie Hall.
not for the singing part. For the fact that, you know,
you were putting yourself out there.
Yeah, I mean, and it's painful for me, because every time I sing any song, the song takes over. And I really, like, literally, most of the time, I do not remember what happened.
The song possesses you.
When I delivered it.
Wow, that's an interesting...
So there's a lot of pain in Ugly.
Wow.
Born in a vulnerable state, kicked out of the womb, left here with no plate, and through my dirty skin, though everything hurts, dragged through the streets, to the train tracks, my light burns. When I was 2, I knew that I chose her. Angel voices in my head, where did they go? Did they leave me the way he left me for dead? Did they die from the N-word, or on the train tracks, or is it living in me until I let it run free? It's the song that can make me remember to see you're a fairy tale that can make me believe. Every time that I feel God is punishing me, you're the rainbow of pain to a land that collides. It's the human condition, despite all the odds. Did I sign up for this? Is this all in vain? Force me to save my prayers for a rainy day, but in a lightning sky, continue to when ugly tells a lie, it breaks me anything ugly could be seen as beautiful. And after all that I've been through, I'm not afraid to be ugly, because ugly is just a lie.
Well, I'm curious about one thing, is that the song Fiendin', there's a lyric in there where it says, "Do it how I like it."
Okay, I did not write Fiendin' is like...
You can't back out now. You said that you read everything, so...
No, I said no.
I'm just
For
kidding.
this album,
I'm just kidding.
most of the songs, 90% of the songs on the album.
Yeah.
And I walk into this studio, and I meet my producer, Corey Laws, who I love to death, and he plays me this song, Fiendin', and I just was like, oh my God, that's it. Like, that feels like, I was like made for this song. I was made
Like, you
to
could
do
let
this
yourself
song.
go. You could actually be out there. You could actually break out of the shell that you're in.
So that was the song that kind of like started my journey as really a commercial pop artist.
Because you look really like you were having a lot of fun.
I
like, it
love
was
that song so much.
Yeah, it looked like a very fun
and
song.
not only that, but there is a story. It was an interesting weekend at the studio, because I had been dealing with the same ex that comes up in these records.
Mm-hmm.
I was dealing with him, but I wasn't ready to walk away at that point. And he put me through kind of hell while I was at the studio that weekend.
Wow.
And
As
I'm like,
exes usually do.
I'm trying to cut this record. It's going to be my first single. Like, would you just please calm down? I'm not doing anything. I'm not.
Be supportive.
Yeah, I'm not doing anything. And like, I didn't even know if I could. It was weird, because I wasn't like connecting to it, you know, because I was so caught up in that. And I said, you know what? I'm going to put that out of my mind and just envision myself with something that is like the most amazing, most incredible love in the world. And as I'm singing the song, it was like I was letting go of that part of me that was going to put up with abuse, that had been trained to be in an abuse cycle, literally, and opened up to something that was realer and truer, that was still passionate, but not deviant, you know? And it was an amazing experience, and that's the take that's on that record.
Wow.
That was that chapter. And then the next day, again, I wake up and I'm like, oh my God, we did it. Let's do one more, right? We're about to go in, and I get a phone call from this guy. I'm like, oh my God, are you kidding me? I'm like breaking down crying. I'm like, how am I gonna be able to sing? Literally, I was like, I'm gonna write about the most amazing, perfect guy in the world. And that was Get It Boy, and Get It Boy is on the Sharon 123 soundtrack on Showtime currently.
I was looking at that.
That's where that song came from. So
wow.
Every single song. And now we're at Runaway, which will be the first single.
And that's what I was going to ask.
Off of my EP. I'm calling it the Holographic EP. And we're going to unfold it every one record every 4 to 6 weeks. Preceding that, right before that, next week on Wednesday, we're actually dropping a summer record, and we just shot the video for that.
So that's the next video coming out, because I noticed that you also were shooting in Times Square not too long ago.
Yeah.
So
that has nothing to do with the single. That's something very particular that I have lined up, and it's going to be a common thread throughout probably the next 3 albums, but that'll be the first one. And I'm like, I'm not posting it. I'm not doing anything with it until we release Runaway. And that's in preparation for the next 2 singles, also written with Cecily Wagner and Davis Chris.
Wow. So it seems like you have a lot in store for the public. You have a lot of cool things coming out.
I'm really excited.
So,
I'm starting with a roundabout. It's like, my mind is like a checkerboard. Like, anything you say to me, I'm like, oh, I'm a Gemini too, so that helps.
Well, with that being said, I'm looking forward to a lot of, all the projects that you got going on.
Yeah, I'm really
make
excited.
sure, with your permission, I'd love to feature some of your music videos on my show. And maybe we could do a follow-up again. I mean, this is a beautiful, a beautiful start, but I was talking about this area, the beautiful winery.
Oh, yeah.
This is a beautiful winery. I wouldn't mind having another interview with you, maybe doing a live performance here at the winery would be fantastic.
Awesome.
So, that's something that we could talk about later on.
Definitely.
But Amanda, thank you so much for being
so much,
here.
Xander.
And you know what? Cheers to a wonderful interview.
Thank God I didn't have any of this, because he was going in with them questions.
Thanks again, and guys, we'll see her and we'll see you guys in a bit.
Never wanna think about us. No, I never wanna think about put the stars away. I don't need them tonight. I landed my senses, tease me with wishes.
Thank you very much, Amanda, for being again on the Xander Effect. Looking forward to seeing what the future holds for you, and looking forward to some more music from you. In sports, Manny Pacquiao does it again. By split decision, he beat Keith Thurman. By the decision, he got Pac-Man got 115 to 112 in the judges' scorecard, while Thurman got 114 to 113 for his decision. Pacquiao wins the WBA title, and looks like the trash talk that Thurman had against Pacquiao, saying that he was going to retire him for good this time and all this other stuff. At the end of the fight, they showed mass respect for each other, which was really classy for both of them to do. And who knows? It's crazy because Pacquiao is a great fighter. Looks like he hasn't lost his step. I mean, he went 12 rounds. I mean, that's saying something. And it just seems to me that he's not done yet. So it'll be interesting to see who he's going to fight next. Many people are saying that they would like to see another Mayweather-Pacquiao fight. I'm not sure if I'm too with that idea, to be honest with you. The last fight they had was a little boring. Not much going on from either side. The decision went to Mayweather. Pacquiao lost, and I'm still not too happy about that decision, to be honest with you. But in the world of boxing, anything can happen. Anything could happen at any given moment, and who knows? Who knows if Pacquiao is going to continue on? Who knows if Pacquiao is going to fight again? And who knows who Pacquiao is going to fight again? So we'll see. In other sports news, have you ever had a friend that is a hardcore fan, or just will pretty much do like they're daring, and if you tell them to jump off of a cliff, they'll actually do it? Well, I actually had an interview with a friend of mine, actually. His name is David Leach, and he did something pretty crazy on his body because he lost a bet. He's a hardcore Kansas City Chiefs fan. He's from Kansas, obviously, and he showed his true pride with doing what he did. Check out this interview. I'm here with a local celebrity, David Leach. Dude, good to have you here, man. Love your music. Love Dirty Machine. You guys have an amazing sound, but we're not here to talk about Dirty Machine. That'll actually happen later on. We're here to talk about the infamous champ stamp that you tattooed on your lower back. You were featured on Jimmy Kimmel, and you had who was the player that you tattooed on your back?
It's Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes.
Exactly, and he was there on the Jimmy Kimmel show as a guest, and you went there specifically to go ahead and have him autograph your champ stamp, right? That was actually pretty interesting for him to be nice enough to go ahead and autograph that. I mean, how, like, you know, you had a lot of help from a lot of your friends, people on social media. They were tagging him and Jimmy Kimmel to go ahead and do this. I got to ask you about what possessed you to go ahead and put something so permanent on your lower back.
Man, brother, you've known me for a long time, but I mean, growing up in Kansas City, Raytown, Missouri specifically, I was the jackass guy, man. I mean, I was the class clown. I was Leach, man. If you said, you know, run across the road, I'd do it. So basically, no one from my hometown is shocked by this, but I'm a diehard Chiefs fan. We've never had a quarterback to the caliber of Mahomes, ever. We've always had B-string, B-grade quarterbacks. So a couple of years ago, I went on a rant on Facebook. And my hometown has my back. They followed my entire LA journey. You know, they love seeing me do what I do. And I went on a rant and I said, we'll never draft anyone worth a damn at quarterback. And we drafted Mahomes. And of course, my high school people were like, you know, you lost the bet. And I said, what do you want me to do? And they said, we want you to get a tattoo of Patrick Mahomes on your lower back. And it was like a poll on Facebook. People voted where I was going to put it. And I ended up going to one of my best friends, Logan Shackelford, and he put it on there, man. I mean, it started out as a complete joke, and it went viral. We didn't expect it.
Yeah, because I saw like during the season, and when the Chiefs actually made it all the way to the semis, that you know, it was featured all over the news, all over your local Kansas City, you know, your hometown's news about you tattooing the champ stamp. And I remember on social media you wanted him to sign it then. Yeah. But he didn't. I mean, did he respond at all to? I mean, I saw him briefly in a press conference, you know, mention it about some crazy guy tattooing him on his lower back or something like that. I mean, was that the only response you got from him, or was there more than that?
You got to keep in mind, he's 20. He was 22 or 23 at the time, and he had just beaten Peyton Manning's like season record. And he's probably thinking, like, this is an accolade that not very many people will ever do. And you're asking me about this dumbass dude's tattoo. He's probably, you can, if you watch the clip, you can actually see it in his face. He's just flabbergasted that they would bring that up at that moment in time going into the playoffs. It's like, dude, I got bigger things to worry about.
Of all things to ask, of all things to talk about, you know, you're talking about a champ stamp right now.
I literally just threw 50 touchdowns in a season and beat Peyton Manning. And so
and that's what you're asking me.
but he never responded to it. And so the Kimmel thing, you probably wanted to touch on how that all came about.
that was going to be my follow-up question as to, you know, since he didn't answer you then, how did you get in contact with Kimmel's people? How did they put you on the show? I mean, because you were in the front row, as we saw in the clip. You were right there in the front. How did that all happen?
Honest to God, man, I got no feedback or reactions out of Mahomes or Kimmel from the tweets and the tagging. I live in Burbank, as you know. I took off work. I drove down to Kimmel with my drummer, Nightmare, who you've met, and we knocked on doors, man. I went to the back door, knocked. They told me to F off. I went to the side door. They told me to F off. It was pure determination on my part. And
persistence.
Yes, man. And you know how they do that segment where they ask people on the street dumb questions?
Yeah.
So I found one of the producers with a headset. I'm like, hey, I need to talk to you. And they're like, get away from me. And I said, I need to talk to you. And they said, what? And I lifted up my shirt, and they were like, what the F?
They were like, okay, we got to put you on here. We got no choice now.
Well, they couldn't believe it was, they go, that's not real. And I said, yes, it is. He's on the show today. I want to meet him. And the next thing I know, they went and got another producer, then another producer, and then the head producer, and then the executive. And all these people were on, all the producers were on Hollywood Boulevard like, this isn't real.
Wow.
And one even tried to wipe it off like it was airbrushed or something.
Wow.
And once they knew it was real, their eyes lit up. And then the next thing I know, me and Nightmare are getting ushered through the back door and sat front row. And what you didn't see on TV is Nightmare's 2 seats down from me. They just put me next to the Chiefs guy because, he was wearing one too. But it was unplanned, unstaged. They totally rewrote the script for it. Mahomes
that's such a wild experience, though.
Yeah, man, just a typical day in LA, right? Mahomes did not know I was going to be there. He didn't. I mean,
wow.
They were so
his shock when he saw you, and his shock when he actually saw the tattoo and everything was legitimate. It was actually like he was just like, "Oh my God, this guy's actually here," type of reaction.
What I think, Pat, what I think was going through Pat's head is he probably remembered it from December and probably thought he'd never hear about it again. And the next thing you know, he's on national television on late night talk shows. And then my dumb ass is front row. He probably couldn't believe what he was seeing, honestly.
If I was him, I'd be like, what the hell's going on,
You know, when you have a bad memory and it starts coming back to you.
Yeah.
He was like, that's the dude from Kansas. Why is he in LA? Why is he front row at Kimmel? I mean, I think that was going through his head. I love Pat, though.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man. And it seems like both Kimmel and Pat were both really good sports about the whole situation. They gave you your time in front of the camera to say your piece. They even had Pat come down, like we saw in the video, to tattoo your back and everything. That was really cool. Did you talk to him like during commercials or after the show or anything?
Oh no, man. He's so busy. I luckily, by the grace of God, man, before I stopped at Kimmel, I stopped at a CVS on the way to Kimmel just to get a Red Bull, right? And something told me and Mike was like, Nightmare. He was like, you need a Sharpie just in case. And I was like, you think I need a Sharpie? Dude, if we wouldn't have bought that Sharpie, Kimmel would not have held up Mahomes. He wouldn't have signed it. You know what I mean? Like, he would have been like, hey, you want the autograph? You got to come prepared. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And so that moment was actually more important than the entire thing. That CVS moment, man, a $5 Sharpie, because he was so busy. As soon as they cut him out of the show, he was escorted out the door and he was heading on his schedule, man. So
wow.
That was clutch on Nightmare's part. It was I went for a Red Bull, man. And he was like, there's a Sharpie right over there, man.
That's smart. That's smart. Yeah. He thought, I mean, like at this point, I think you were probably thinking, I'm just glad I'm just going to try to get in there, let alone, have Pat come by and autograph it. That was probably the last thing on your mind at that point.
Yeah. The grind out here, brother. I was going down with a 90% fail rate. 10% success rate. I mean, I was going to give it a shot. If not, I was going to go see a movie. I took the day off. I was like, man, if I get him, I get him. If I don't, I have the day off. So it was just it was an amazing moment, man. It was just I think, I don't know, man. It just kind of it made my year, dude. It was cool for my hometown to put Raytown on the map like that.
That's really awesome, man. And because of that, I also saw on your social media that you're also involved with a beer company.
Yeah, man. So there's a local brewing company in Kansas City called Crane Brewing, and one of the buddies I went to high school with is pretty high up with them, man. And then now they approached me wanting to launch a Champ Stamp Dirty Machine beer, man.
Wow.
It's that's huge. The only other person in Kansas City with their own beer line is Tech Nine, man. So to be up there with that, like to say that, a Dirty Machine brew is going to be in some stores in Kansas City and the brewing company. It's amazing, man. That's a dream come true, man. And like I said, there's Kansas City, and then there's Raytown, man. Just like LA Burbank, and I'm from Raytown, and I rap hard, man. And it's cool to have Raytown get the recognition it deserves, even though it's my dumb ass.
Hey, but you know what though? If they represent Tech Nine, will there be some sort of a collab between Dirty Machine and Tech Nine in the near future?
I hope so. Well, Tech Nine's with Boulevard Wheat, man. Boulevard Wheat's even out here. It's amazing. But Tech Nine's really the only like big thing that came out of Kansas City, at least from my area. And we all grew up on Tech Nine, of course, but Tech Nine reps Kansas City, Missouri. So there's Kansas City, Kansas, which makes no sense. I don't know, man. That's weird.
It's just all mixed up. It's all over the place. Well, that's cool, man. I mean, that's one hell of a story. And I'm curious, besides that, how much more publicity, how much more attention have you gotten after the Jimmy Kimmel, show up?
Man, dude, it's everywhere, dude. It's going to probably hit 1 million views on ESPN today. I mean, it's like at 9.
Yeah, because it was on ESPN. I noticed that as well.
Yeah, man, it got everywhere. I mean, Pat Mahomes he's the face of the NFL now, man. He's the new wave. And now, I don't know if you've seen on my social media, but now people in Kansas City are getting body murals of him. Like
I saw that. There was like a guy with an entire, like his whole back. I saw that you posted that, and I was like, wow, Dave, what in the world did you start?
You know what? But they can do it, but there's only one champ stamp that was signed on Jimmy Kimmel.
That's damn right. Damn right. And on that note, I'm going to go ahead and let you go. I know you're really busy. I'm sure that you have a lot more. I'm sure you've been interviewed by many other people. You know, thank you so much for taking the time and, for me to have the opportunity to interview you about this crazy adventure that you had. I mean, that is one hell of a story, and that is one hell of an adventure that you went through, man. In the near future, I definitely want to interview you and the boys of Dirty Machine. I mean, I featured your music on one of my episodes. Hey, it's my pleasure. You guys are an amazing band, and I look forward to, sitting down with you guys and maybe even playing a little bit of a game that I have in store for you guys that you guys might find kind of funny and a little bit disturbing, but I think that's right up your alley anyway. So you might like it.
And for your viewers, if there's anything they can take away from the Kimmel thing, man, is I manifested that whole thing, dude. I wanted it. I saw it on my way down to Kimmel. I was picturing what I would say if I was sitting next to Mahomes in the chair or with a microphone, man. And I just saw it. I wanted it. I went after it, and I was going to be okay if I failed at it, but I didn't. So
just visualize it.
Whoever's watching this, whatever you're doing, it's probably not going to be a champ stamp, but whatever you're doing in life, go after it. Yeah, visualize it and go after it.
That's a good message, man. That's a great message. Well, thanks a lot, David Leach. And you know what? We will be seeing you very soon. Thanks for the opportunity, man.
All right. Love you, brother.
Love you too, brother. Talk to you soon.
All right.
Thanks a lot, David, for gracing us with your presence on the Xander Effect. Man, I hope that when you're like 80 or 90 and, the tattoo's all stretched out and all, nasty, you don't regret that decision, because that was pretty wild. A wild story, though. It got you a lot of attention, especially from Jimmy Kimmel, it got you attention from Jimmy Kimmel. So, yeah, dude, you did a really cool, fan support, I guess you might say, and should be really, that should be really interesting to see what, if you end up betting and what that bet might be, and what would you do if you actually lose the bet. So, but I'm looking forward to, hopefully sometime in the near future interviewing you and the band Dirty Machine. You guys got great music, so we'll go ahead and we'll keep you posted on that one next time. In video game news, finally, Rockstar, thank you. After years of wait, the casino update is just 2 days away. It comes out Tuesday. Rockstar announced it this week. The casino update comes out this Tuesday. So make sure that you are there to, bask in all the glory of getting casinos. I mean, this casino update has everything. You got card games, which includes blackjack, poker. You have slot machines. you have even horse races. Well, they're virtual horse races because obviously, Rockstar's not going to go ahead and make actual horses in the horse track, God forbid. But yeah, it's about time. There's actually a few other features that are in the update, which feature also penthouse suites as well. They mentioned something about Mount Chiliad. There is also a membership that you get when you become a member of the Diamond Resort. I believe they call it is the new casino resort that's in Los Santos. So that should be interesting. Also, for any Twitch Prime members, it seems that Rockstar is saying that if you link the account, you also get an additional $1.25 million in your GTA cash when you log on or when you link your account with Twitch Prime. So for any gamers that haven't linked their account, do it so you could go ahead and get that extra 1.25 million that you're probably going to need, because seeing how all the features that this new update has, you're going to need the money because it looks like a pretty expensive update. I'll tell you that much right now because, yeah, I saw it and it looked pretty crazy. In other video game news, PUBG is updating their maps. They're updating everything. And actually, I have my notes here. PUBG will have a backstory along with a revamp to the first map, which is Erangel. And plus more updates coming up very soon in the near future to all their maps. So all you PUBG players, look out for those because looks like you're getting brand new maps coming soon to PUBG. That's it for the Xander Effect. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys got a kick out of everything that happened today. And that is the news in case you haven't heard it. See you next time. Hi, what's up everyone? It's Xander Dames here, and if you like this video or any of my other videos, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you guys could get a little bell every time I upload another video. And also make sure to follow me on Twitter and Instagram.